This is a countdown video. It contains my own personal opinion on the subject matter. If you don't like my opinion, well, go make your own video for all I care. Number 20.
If everyone is not special, maybe you can't be what you want to be. それぞれの答えにつかる
Mob Psycho 100. Straight up, I didn't like this anime as much as I thought I would. Don't get me wrong, it's not a bad anime. It's quite spectacular, in fact. But when comparing it to One Punch Man, the original creator's previous work, it kinda falls flat for me. On a positive note though, the animation courtesy of Studio Bones perfectly emulates the pages of the manga into animation. It's just one of those shows that you can tell had a lot of work and passion put in it. The movements of the characters are all fluid and flow naturally. This might be one of the best animated shows of the year. Unfortunately, everything else is kind of lackluster to me. Our main characters are nice and I like them, but I don't gravitate to them as much as I thought I would. Though I should say that the relationship between the characters are very well written. I also found the villains pretty underwhelming and not that memorable, minus Redhead Kid over here. When thinking about One Punch Man villains, I remember and love their villains so much, like Dr. Genius, Speedo Sonic, the Deep Sea King, and Lord Boris. I love these villains, but the one in Mob Psycho just didn't really do it for me. Don't get me wrong. This is a really good show. It will probably be one of the best of the year, but it just didn't do that much for me. Maybe next time then. Number 19. Flip Flappers. So you know how the 21st episode of Space Dandy, A World with No Sadness, baby? And throughout the entire episode you have no idea what the fuck is going on, but the visuals keep pushing you through and the meaning is there once you stop to interpret it. Make that an entire series and you've got Flip Flappers. But even with that, I love anime that tell its story and characters strictly through its visual storytelling. And for its first 8 episodes, it was so engaging to watch. Kokona's journey with coming to terms with change, the unknown that is the future, and coming to terms with her sexuality and her growing attraction to her new friend Papika was what kept me coming back every single episode. The locations that the characters visited were so creative and imaginative and also tied into what the characters' dilemmas were. Now you may be wondering why I only said that the first 8 episodes were so engaging. Well, that's because halfway through the show, the head writer left and was replaced by someone else. And boy did it show. Gone was the amazing visual storytelling and in came conventional storytelling with a climax a little too similar to the end of the Evangelion movie. None of it is bad in any way, and the character arc of Yayaka had a great conclusion to it. But those first 8 episodes were so visually amazing and the rest is just generic storytelling. It's lower on the list because I'm just disappointed in what the anime became in the end. That's all I have to say. Number 18. Real Life. I gotta say, this anime took me by surprise. I had first watched it because I liked the plot synopsis and it sounded like a good story for an anime. An adult going to high school again in a younger body to relive his life that's been lost in a way? That's a great idea! So as I continued to watch each episode, I found myself getting more and more invested in the story and characters. Not in like a big way, but little by little. The comedy in the show is great, bringing tons of funny and often extremely hilarious scenarios with these fun and enjoyable characters. And since these characters are fun and enjoyable, when the anime decides to be dramatic, it doesn't feel forced or artificial in any way. It just gets you more and more invested. There's also a fun mystery that is brought up early in the show and isn't talked about all that much, but it's something that lingers in the back of your mind each time you watch an episode. And I'm happy to say that I figured out that mystery before it was revealed in the last episode. The word that I keep on coming up with this anime is satisfying. It isn't spectacular at all, it has its fair share of problems, like its animation at times, and it has a few pacing problems, but it's just satisfying. That's sometimes all I need when I watch anime. Number 17. Durarara X2, Ketsu. Here we are, ladies and gentlemen, after 62 bloated episodes of Durarara, we finally reached the end. It's been a crazy, exhausting, and confusing ride, but I've loved every minute of it. Since only the final season aired this year, I'll mostly be focusing on whether or not it concluded everything well. So, did it tie up all the stories and characters in a neat little bow? No. Did every character's story arc end with a satisfying conclusion? No, but when you have this many characters and with this many storylines, fans are not going to be satisfied 100%, no matter what. But it's the crazy personalities and stories colliding with each other that I love so much about Durarara. I mean, I would have loved to see more of characters like Katsuka and Ruri, Akena, and the Orohara twins in the final act of this insane show, but in the end, beggars can't be choosers. For the stories and characters that we did get to see wrapped up and concluded nicely, it was totally worth it sticking with this anime to the very end, watching final confrontations to character arcs that involved Celti and Shinra, Shizuo and Verona, Aizawa and Minami, and everything to do with the crazy Van gang, reminding me again and again why I love this series so much. It's in the execution, despite some poorly animated episodes in the middle, that the show exceeds so much despite the amount of time between episodes that I had to prod my brain trying to figure everything out. In the end, it was an exhilarating ride all the way through, and I can't wait to experience it all over again from the very beginning by reading the original light novels. Number 16. Kiss-n-Aver. Ever since the newly formed Studio Trigger created Kill la Kill, a stupid yet fun anime, I've been waiting to see what their next big thing would be. And while it's not as big or over the top crazy like Kill la Kill or Ninja Slayer was, the animation is great here as well. The animation gives us some good comedic expressions from some of the characters, including Tenga and Yoshiharu. This is another example of a show where the characters are amazing enough to carry the entire thing for me. Since the show is about connecting your pain with other people and becoming friends, the interactions between the characters are fun to watch. My favorite being Yuta and Honoka. Speaking of Honoka, she was my favorite character and had the best character arc along with a tragic backstory of her best friend and possible lover, Ruru. The episodes that centered on her were the best parts of the anime. This also includes some great conversations between her and Yuta, which were very intriguing and thought-provoking.
どうして
私ね、自分なんかどうでもいいの。壊れたっていいのよ。
Outside of this, however, the writing could be off sometimes with some sentences that the characters say, making you feel a big sense of,
What the hell does this have to do with anything? Tell me what's happening!
big speeches of inspiration and talk of friendship is not this anime's greatest strength. It's stronger when it's more subtle and quiet. And for all those moments, along with some great characters, it made a Studio Trigger anime, besides Kill la Kill, that I was finally pleased with.